Hi, I'm Matt Holscher with Parent Marriage Counseling. Today I want to talk about pornography. I've had several clients ask me if porn is normal in marriage. Is it something you just have to put up with? Or is it something that's an indicator that something else is wrong? Something that could lead to future problems down the road? And I have a few thoughts on that, so I thought I'd jump on YouTube today and share those with you. First, who is the biggest porn profiter in the nation? Do you even know who the biggest distributor is? I'll give you a hint. The name is 2 words, but they go by 2 little letters. GE. GE makes billions off the porn industry through their subsidiary, DirecTV, the largest porn distributor in the nation, thanks to their pay-per-view. You can just sign up and have as much as you want once you're a customer. Do you know what the second biggest porn producer is? Porn profiter in the United States? It's kind of ironic because their name has 3 letters in it. You're probably listening to it over there, this podcast, over their airwaves right now. AT&T. They own all the channels in all the hotel rooms in the US, giving you movies for $10 discreetly billed to your hotel room account. So between GE and AT&T, they make up the bulk of all the porn purchasing and distribution within the US, probably even worldwide. Scary thought, huh? The rest is all just the websites and making it available over the web is just repurposing that content that was made for the 2 giants to increase revenues. And porn has become so persuasive now because they've learned that they have to give 90% of it away to get that small 10% of people hooked. Because once they're hooked, it gets into the addiction center in the brain, and like any drug, you need bigger and more exciting and crazier action to really get that same high as watching just a basic scene of people having sex. So it is an epidemic because it's only going to keep increasing. That's why we're seeing new types of porn that's more violent, because violence in sex is more stimulating than just sex. And it's going to get worse before it gets better. So the important thing for you is learning how to manage it within your relationship, within your marriage. So the first thing is to understand that porn is the very, very beginning of a chain of broken intimacy. A lot of men grew up with porn and we have normalized it in our minds, but it's because we're afraid to ask for the intimacy that we want. We're afraid to ask for our needs to be met in our relationship from our primary partner. But it starts with porn, and then it kind of goes to strippers, massage parlors, and before you know it, you could be dealing with a full-on affair if you have a complete shutdown of intimacy and a lack of emotional connection. So when I do my marriage coaching, the first thing I do is find out what makes 2 partners feel loved and what do they need to do to reestablish that emotional connection and that intimacy. Because if you solve that bottom layer, all the problems that happen down chain all just go away. You can spend a long time saying that porn's bad, don't do it, don't watch it, I'm going to put filters, I'm going to block. But you're just spinning your wheels up here if you don't cut the problem off at the base. Like a weed, you have to pull it out by the roots, and the root problem is intimacy in your relationship. So, to get that intimacy, you need to find out what you need to do that makes your partner feel loved, and what you do, what he does that makes you feel loved. And that takes some time to really explore, and it requires communication. You have to talk about your needs, talk about your desires, and feel that you can share them without creating the downward cycle of all relationships. Criticism, which leads to judgment, which leads to defensiveness, and finally stonewalling or withdrawal. And when you get to that 4th point, porn's now a reliable option because you're withdrawing. You'd rather escape. It's easier to escape to fantasies of our mind and hope that things will change in the future, or watch something that you want to enjoy when you're in your privacy, when you're alone, because now it's available 24/7 on any device that's almost always with you. So it's impossible to not watch it if you didn't want to. It's literally in your pocket and available 24/7 for free. Communication is the only way that's going to block it, that's going to stop it. Your partner has to be able to share their fantasies with you, share their desires, share crazy ideas that they may have no intention of acting on, But they want to share that with you and show you who they really are, their real thoughts and desires, because eventually in marriage, over many years, you get tired of trying to keep this wall up, of trying to be fake and perfect, and this is what everybody do, and this is normal, and so I'm just going to think this is what everybody else calls normal, so I want to pretend to be normal too. And that's where I tell people, there is no normal. Porn is not good or bad. Normal is anything that you can discuss. You can have anything in the box of your marriage as long as you can ask for it. It's not the action, it's lying about the action that's wrong, that creates betrayal, that creates problems in marriage. There are people that do all kinds of crazy things within the box of marriage because they meet my test of what we call normal, and that is safe, sane, and consensual. If what you're doing is safe, if it's considered sane by two people, and it's consensual, meaning you're both in agreement about the action being taken, then it's normal. Then it's fine. If you're lying about it, you're not being consensual, you're not giving your partner the full information, and so they're not making a decision based on all the facts that are available. So if you're in a marriage, specifically a monogamous marriage, you took vows to be faithful to each other and expecting to fulfill each other's needs, and all of them. And that faithfulness means that you're only going to get your sexual needs fulfilled by this other person, but this other person also has an implied obligation to be sexually available, to be sexually adventurous, to at least be open to listening to sexual desires and fantasies. And when that's not there first, when that trust is broken, then the physical trust of faithfulness is much easier to break. So when people often say, oh, I had nothing to do with this, often there are things that led up to this a long time ago, a long ways back. That intimacy was broken, the communication chain was broken, and that's what led to these future problems. So if you want to get rid of porn in your marriage, you have to get rid of judgment and criticism. You have to accept your partner and make sure that they feel safe sharing their deepest, innermost secrets, their biggest demons, that one secret we all keep held up tight deep inside of us. It has to be safe for that to come out and to be shared in your marriage. And if you don't feel like you can do that alone or by yourself, that's where I come in as a marriage coach. There are many things that, kind of like an oil change for your car, every couple of years you need to come in and just have a few sessions to get stuff cleared up, to make sure that you're listening openly, listening honestly, and making sure that nothing's getting held back, nothing's getting blocked, nothing's getting repressed. Because when it gets repressed, it comes back. You can't bury it. You can put it away for a little bit, but then it comes back bigger and bigger until finally it overwhelms you or it creates a bigger problem in your marriage. So, that's my tips on how to cure porn in your marriage. I'm Matthew Holscher with Parent Marriage Counseling. I'm available by phone, Skype, or in person at my office in West Miami. I'm Matthew Holscher. I look forward to talking to you soon.